You ever get the feeling like life's just happening to you? Same alarm, same job, same bills, and deep down, a quiet voice asking, is this really all there is? What if the answer is no? What if you're not stuck? You're just plugged in. In today's episode, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 invisible systems that shape your time, your thoughts, and your choices, without you even realizing it. And once you see the matrix, you can't unsee it.
So, have you ever just had that feeling, that quiet hum kind of under the surface of everyday life that whispers, this can't be it?
Oh, definitely. It's potent, that feeling.
You know the loop, right? Alarm clock, commute, inbox dings, the endless scroll, bills, sleep, repeat. Like you're just caught in this current you didn't actively choose.
Yeah, and that feeling, it's not just in your head. It's real. It's something people talk about, in philosophy, psychology, even movies. It has a name or, well, a really powerful metaphor.
Right. We're talking about the Matrix, and no, not literally dodging bullets in VR. Not yet, anyway.
Right. We're using it as a metaphor, yeah. For a real-world system, these invisible structures, habits, assumptions, they're all designed to keep you sort of orbiting.
Orbiting, yeah, that's a good word. And it's subtle, isn't it? That's the key.
Incredibly subtle. It's not like chains or walls. It's woven right into daily life, into what feels normal, safe, even comfortable.
Exactly. It's constantly training you without you even clocking it. Teaches you to chase status, fear failure, avoid anything that feels actually risky.
Nudges you to consume, right? Just follow the path.
Yeah, the path of least resistance. Living by default, basically, instead of deciding what you really want.
And that's why it works so well, why most people just go through life without questioning. It doesn't look like a prison. It looks like good things, the stable job, the degree, the algorithm that gets here.
Social validation, yeah. The system keeps saying, you're doing great, as long as you never stop and ask that one killer question.
Which is,
wait a minute, is this even what I want?
Yes. And that question, that's where this deep dive really starts. We've gone through the material you shared, articles, notes, research, to really get a handle on this real-world matrix, and specifically to pull back the curtain on 5 systems that are quietly running the show for a lot of people.
And let's be super clear up front. This isn't about, tinfoil hats or conspiracies.
Not at all. It's about consciousness. Understanding the systems operating on you so you can start reclaiming your own stuff. Your time, your energy, your focus, your choices, really.
Because freedom, real freedom, it doesn't just start with, like, a lottery win or moving off grid.
No, the sources are clear on this. It starts with awareness. Once you genuinely see the programming, see how the code works, you can't unsee it. It changes things.
Okay, so let's unpack that feeling then. This idea of being born into something you didn't design. It's not a glitch. It is the system for most of us, right?
Yeah.
You show up and bam, there's this whole structure, rules, this sort of cultural OS already running.
A mental operating system.
Yeah.
I like that. The matrix isn't hardware, it's software. Beliefs, expectations, rules you soaked up super early, often before you could even, question them properly.
It's like a filter, isn't it? Shapes how you see success. Tells you what to aim for, what's valuable. It defines normal versus risky. And it hands you this default good life package before you've even asked yourself what your version looks like.
And how does it get programmed? Just sheer repetition, reinforcement, school, ads, movies, TV shows, and powerfully how your family, teachers, friends react to things, what they expect.
It runs on these stories we barely question, like the big one. Go to school, get good grades, safe degree, respectable job, climb the ladder, retire at 65.
Or the quieter ones. Don't rock the boat. Be realistic. Money's hard to get. Security over freedom. Just follow the rules, do your bit, life will work out.
And the kicker is loads of people follow that script perfectly, tick every box. But did it actually bring the peace, the fulfillment, the freedom it promised?
Right.
Or, for so many, did it just lead to stress, self-doubt, a calendar packed with stuff they didn't choose?
And that's the genius of the Matrix, isn't it? It doesn't feel like a cage. It feels like, like reality, the way things are.
Exactly. It gives you just enough comfort, the steady paycheck, the routine, those little dopamine hits from notifications, keeps you quiet. Just enough stability that thinking about real change feels terrifying. Just enough distraction so you don't sit with that nagging, is this it, feeling for too long.
And so you see millions living lives that look okay on the surface, but inside, working jobs that drain them, buying stuff they don't need, chasing goals someone else set, and feeling, yeah, that quiet emptiness.
And they almost never ask the question that, according to the sources, can unravel it all. Hang on. Who actually benefits from me staying right here, playing small, doing what's expected?
Because the system does benefit. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It profits from your compliance, your routine. Spend more than you earn. Financial system wins. Stay in a job you hate. The company wins. Too distracted or scared to question the basic setup, the structure itself wins.
But when you start to wake up, feel that little flicker of awareness, start questioning the code.
That's when the system starts to glitch. And that's what this deep dive is all about, exploring those glitches.
Right. The goal isn't escaping reality. It's understanding it so you can start redesigning your reality within it.
Exactly. And the first big layer we need to peel back, the most visible one maybe, is System 1, the job trap. Let's look at how the whole modern idea of a job became such a key part of this default path.
Okay, let's do it. System 1, the job trap. Super common entry point into the matrix after school, and maybe the most socially accepted one.
And like we said, it's not about hating work itself. Meaningful work is crucial. But the system around the modern job, that's the trap. The uncomfortable truth is the system wasn't primarily designed to set you free. It was designed to make you useful, predictable.
Useful to who?
To companies, economies, governments, larger structures.
And you can trace this back, can't you? Industrial Revolution. Factories needed people showing up reliably, doing standard tasks, following orders.
Exactly. Think about that structure. Fixed hours, top-down authority, repetitive tasks, work versus life separation. It was all about efficiency for mass production, not your personal autonomy or creativity.
And it hasn't changed that much, has it? We swap smoke breaks for Slack, punch cards for key cards, but the core dynamic.
Still there. You trade your time, usually your best hours, for a set amount of money, following someone else's structure and tasks.
And the path we're sold is school, get qualified, stable job, climb the ladder, maybe hop jobs for a raise, save a bit, retire at 65. That's security.
But is it really secure? We see jobs vanish overnight, market changes, tech, corporate decisions, totally out of your hands. Is it freedom if your whole financial life depends on one paycheck stream?
It feels more like managed dependency. Like the sources say, it's a slow, quiet, socially approved kind of control.
And the psychology is powerful. Jobs hook you because they're predictable. Paycheck comes, tasks are known, role is defined. Comforting in a way.
Right. Our brains like predictable. Uncertainty feels dangerous, even if the certainty is soul-crushing. The known discomfort feels safer than the unknown of stepping off the path.
And the pay. It's usually just enough. Just enough to cover things, maybe a few small extras. Just enough that leaving feels like a massive gamble.
Keeps you busy too, right? Feeling productive, contributing something. Which feels okay on the surface.
But often leaves zero energy or headspace to question it, or to build something on the side.
Okay, but here's where the escape route starts to appear. Lots of people who built real freedom didn't just, drop out immediately.
No, often they use the job strategically. Saw the 9 to 5 not as the end game, but as a launch pad, a tool.
How so?
Use it to learn skills, understand an industry, build connections, and critically, stack capital not just for retirement in the system, but to fund their exit from it.
Ah, okay. So they reframed it. It wasn't their identity. It was a phase, a strategic move.
And that mental shift is huge. The second you think, this job isn't me, it's not my final stop, it's just funding what comes next, everything changes. You stop waiting for permission.
For the promotion, the bonus, the green light.
Yeah. You start building on the side, learning for yourself, using your free time to invest in your escape plan, not just zoning out to recover.
So that intentional layering, building while still inside, that's often the practical way out.
It really is. And it starts by asking, is this job funding the future I actually want? Or just my survival within this system?
Because seeing the job as a tool, not a life sentence, that's reclaiming power. And often the programming that locks you in starts way earlier, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Which brings us nicely to System 2, the education illusion. How the places meant to enlighten us often end up being the primary boot camp for the Matrix.
Right. Let's dig into that one. Okay, System 2, the education illusion. This one's deep. Maybe the least questioned system. Get a good education. It's like the golden rule, right? Key to everything.
And look, education as in learning, curiosity, expanding your mind, that's vital, absolutely. But the system of modern schooling, Well, that's often a different beast. The uncomfortable idea from the sources is that traditional school, its structure, its rewards, was often more about making you manageable than truly free.
Manageable. How do you mean?
Think back. What got rewarded? Sit still. Be quiet. Hand up. Follow instructions perfectly. Memorize. Repeat. Stay inside the lines.
Yeah, obedience, conformity, compliance, that got the gold stars. Critical thinking, questioning things, challenging the setup, that was often labeled disruptive.
Exactly. And the structure itself, rows of desks, bells, one person at the front with the answers, standardized tests.
It wasn't random. Like the job trap, it scaled up during the Industrial Revolution. Designed to produce reliable workers for factories or bureaucracies, people who followed schedules, did repetitive tasks, respected hierarchy.
Precisely. It was the perfect training ground for System 1, the 9 to 5.
And the disconnect now is huge, isn't it? We're in this creative, digital, entrepreneurial age.
And we're still using a model built for an industrial economy that's fading fast, preparing kids for a world that doesn't quite exist anymore in the same way.
It's wild when you list what school didn't teach most of us. Like how to manage money, invest, deal with failure constructively.
How to sell an idea, build something from nothing, negotiate.
Or even deeper stuff. Regulate emotions, trust your gut, build self-awareness. How to genuinely think for yourself outside the box they gave you.
I remember asking, why are we learning this? Or when will I ever use this? Those questions, born of real curiosity, often got shut down, right? Because the system doesn't like questioning its own utility.
Yeah, a free thinker asks who wrote the test and why.
And the long-term impact. People leave school conditioned to chase approval grades, teacher praise, degrees. They wait for instructions, terrified of mistakes because mistakes meant bad marks.
You end up confusing doing well by the system's rules with actual intelligence or real-world capability, feeling like you're not ready without that official stamp, the degree, the title.
But look at the people really creating things, living aligned lives. They didn't wait for permission. Many had to actively unlearn the school rules.
They had to reclaim that curiosity, didn't they? Stopped waiting for a seat at the table and just built their own.
Exactly. So the big question here for you listening is, what beliefs about your own smarts, your worth, your future are still running on that old school programming rather than your own truth?
Realizing that the system was often about standardizing, not liberating, that's incredibly freeing.
Because then you can stop waiting for the gold star and start re-educating yourself on your own terms, following your curiosity. And that is revolutionary.
And while the mindset keeps you compliant, there's another system working to keep you dependent financially.
Ah, yes. System 3. The debt game.
Let's get into how that keeps the treadmill spinning. Okay, System 3, the debt game. The financial layer. This one hits almost everyone and keeps people really tethered.
Yeah, and it's not just about, bad individual choices. It's engineered debt. Strategic, institutionalized, often dressed up as opportunity or necessity, but it functions like a leash.
Important distinction, though. Debt itself isn't inherently bad, right?
Yeah.
Savvy people use it strategically.
Exactly, to buy assets, things that make money, leverage, but the debt pushed on the average person, that's usually consumer debt, lifestyle debt, high-interest stuff that feels like access but becomes a huge weight.
And they hook you early, don't they? Student loans, prime example.
Oh yeah, 18 years old, told college is the only path, and bam, sign here for potentially 6 figures, for degrees that might not lead to jobs that can easily pay it back.
You could spend your 20s and 30s just paying off the entry fee to the respectable path while interest piles up against you.
And notice this. Easy to get a huge loan for years in a classroom. Try getting that same amount to start a business, escape the job trap, buy a rental property. The system readily finances paths within itself, not paths out.
Why is that?
Simple. Debt is massively profitable for the institutions issuing it, especially if people are confused, maybe a bit ashamed, and don't talk about it.
Then you graduate, or maybe you don't, and the credit card offers flood in. You qualify. Instant gratification machines. Buy now, pay.
A lot more later. Compound interest, the magic that could build your wealth, is now working against you, making the debt snowball. And you're chasing a credit score, turning it into this weird measure of worth, just so you can play the game, get an apartment, qualify for more debt.
And the illusion of ownership is everywhere. The car, the phone, the furniture, the mortgage. You deserve it. Finance it.
And before you know it, the things you think you own you. The payments dictate the job you need. The job dictates your time. Time vanishes servicing debt for a lifestyle within this system.
It's not freedom, it's a fancy hamster wheel. Spot on.
and the core programming we missed in school. The financial system doesn't want you debt-free. It wants you credit-dependent. Comfortable enough not to revolt, but dependent enough to keep earning inside the system to make those payments. Your confusion is their profit center.
So what's the countermove? The sources talk about how wealth builders operate differently.
Totally different mindset. They use debt, sure, but to buy assets. Things that put money in their pocket, businesses, real estate, investments, not liabilities that take money out, fancy cars, consumer goods on high interest.
They actually study finance. They get compound interest working for them through investing, not against them through debt payments.
And crucially, they don't let their lifestyle inflate to eat every dollar they earn. They keep a gap, a surplus, and deliberately channel it into buying assets, building systems for freedom. Not just upgrading their stuff within the cage. Debt is a tool, used carefully, not a default state.
So the raw question the system forces you to ask is my money mostly working for me, building assets, funding my freedom, or am I mostly working just to service someone else's system, paying off liabilities?
And until you can answer that honestly and start shifting things, you're plugged right into the debt game. Now, while debt ties up your money, another system is busy hijacking something even more precious.
Your attention. System 4, the attention economy. Let's talk about how focus became the new oil and how platforms are designed to steal it.
Yeah, let's lean into this. It's pervasive.
Okay, System 4, the attention economy. This one. It's maybe the sneakiest, so quiet, so universal, and it uses tech that feels essential.
Right. We've talked jobs, debt, tangible things. But what if the most valuable currency today isn't dollars, but focus? Your ability to consciously direct your mental energy.
And let's be real for a sec. Right now, are you listening, fully in control of your attention? Or is part of your brain itching to check something, open another tab, glance at the phone?
Think about that experience we all have. Pick up the phone to do one specific thing. Check weather, reply to a text. 20 minutes later, you surface from some random rabbit hole, feeling drained, having forgotten the original task.
That's not you failing. That is 100% by design.
Exactly. Welcome to the attention economy. Those free services, you're paying with attention. Clicks, scrolls, watch time, engagement.
And what you get back is constant stimulation, overload, noise, but rarely deep clarity, wisdom, or quiet truth. And the product being sold, it's you, your eyeballs, your habits, your distractibility, your vulnerability to influence.
Every big platform, social, streaming, news, games, they're in a constant war for your limited attention. More engagement, more data. More data, better ad targeting. Better ads, more money.
And they're scary good at it. Behavioral psychologists, data scientists, they study you better than you study yourself. They know the colors, sounds, headlines, formats that hook your brain and keep you scrolling.
They're not just after your time. They want your mental real estate. They want to occupy your awareness constantly.
And when your mental space is always full of external noise, less room for the important internal stuff. Deep thinking, focused work, creativity, self-reflection, planning, questioning these very systems.
Which makes the attention economy the perfect tool for the Matrix. Technology isn't the villain. Distraction is. You can't build a different life, chart a clear course if your mind is fragmented, always seeking the next hit, constantly interrupted.
This system doesn't need walls. It just needs to keep you scrolling, swiping, consuming, too distracted to ever really start building something else.
And here's the stark truth. If you don't intentionally decide where your attention goes, moment by moment, someone else already has. And they're profiting.
The results are serious. Can't focus deeply, feel perpetually overwhelmed. Hard to dream clearly when your imagination is crowded with other people's stuff.
And maybe worst, we start thinking this fragmented state is normal. We forget what true presence feels like, finishing a thought, or even just being bored long enough for an insight to pop up.
So breaking free, it needs conscious effort, fierce boundaries, not necessarily ditching tech, but controlling it.
Turn off non-essential notifications, like almost all of them. Schedule time for deep work, reading, silence. Be the master, not the slave of the tech.
Reclaim your mornings or evenings from scrolling. Curate your feeds, ruthlessly cut what doesn't feed your mind or soul.
And crucially, create more than you consume. Even small acts, right? Build, talk to people face to face. Shift from passive receiver to active agent.
Because taking charge of your attention, that's step one towards sovereignty. Clarity in this noisy world is a revolutionary act. But even with clear focus, there's one more internal system.
The most personal one, System 5, the approval trap. How our need to belong gets twisted into a barrier.
Yeah, this is where it gets really close to home. Let's talk about it. All right, System 5, the approval trap. We've hit the external stuff work, school, debt, tech. But the final lock, the one inside your own head.
It's that part of us, that deeply human part, that wants connection, want to be liked, accepted, validated, to belong. And that's normal, right? We're wired for connection.
The trap springs when that need for belonging morphs into a dependence on approval before you'll act, speak your truth, or make your own choices. When you basically hand veto power over your life to what other people might think.
And often those other people are themselves stuck in the matrix, playing by its rules. Your stepping out makes them uncomfortable about their own choices, so they might subtly pull you back in.
Let's get specific. How many times have you held back an idea thinking it was too much, or afraid of looking stupid?
Stuck with a job, a relationship, a path, long after you knew it was wrong because, well, parents, friends, society expected it.
Avoided starting that project, that business, even a weird hobby, purely out of fear of being judged or laughed at?
Made choices just to keep the peace, sacrificing what you really needed.
Or the really subtle one. Played small, kept ambitions quiet, held back your growth because you sensed it might make others feel insecure.
That's the matrix working directly on your psychology. It trains you from day one, look outward first. Am I okay? Do they like this? Seek permission. Silence your truth if it rocks the boat.
And the result? You start building your life and start maintaining an image, the person you think others approve of.
Curating your personality for likes, editing your dreams down to fit expectations, becoming this respectable, responsible, adjusted version of yourself that is fundamentally misaligned.
It's camouflage, not growth.
Yeah.
And you just cannot build a free, authentic life if you're addicted to everyone clapping.
Because the reality is, any big move outside the lines, any bold decision, it'll be misunderstood by some, questioned, criticized. It will make some people uncomfortable.
So if your requirement for moving forward is universal applause, you're staying put, trapped by fear of judgment.
The way out is internal, deeply. It's a conscious choice to start unhooking your worth from external validation, a quiet revolution in your own mind.
Like deciding, I'd rather be real than just liked.
Respected for my truth, even if it's awkward, than accepted for my silence.
I'm not for everyone, and that is absolutely okay.
And when you start operating from that place, wow, things shift. You attract people who resonate with the real you. Relationships deepen, based on truth, not performance. You stop living reactively, start living deliberately.
That's real freedom, isn't it? Because, yeah, some people might fall away, question you, not get it.
But the right people,
Yeah.
the ones on your wavelength, they'll either get it, support you, grow with you, or at least respect the sheer guts it takes to choose your own way in a world screaming at you to conform.
So really think about it. How much of your life today is shaped by fear of judgment, need for approval?
And what opens up the moment you stop asking for permission to live your life?
What if you gave yourself permission to be fully seen, complexity and all, even if some people only liked the filtered version? Because breaking free isn't just about jobs or money. It's reclaiming your voice, your truth, your life design.
So we've walked through these 5 systems: Job trap, education illusion, debt game, attention economy, approval trap. Let's tie it all together now. What does actually stepping onto a different path look like?
Yeah, because it's not just about escaping. It's about intentionally designing something better, something true.
Let's connect those threads.
So 5 systems, recapped: job trap, time for survival; education illusion, compliance overthought; debt game, dependence disguised as opportunity; attention economy, hijacked focus; approval trap, fear over truth.
And they all feed each other, don't they? The job keeps you too tired to question. School trained you to accept the job structure. Debt forces you to keep the job. Attention theft stops you learning how to escape debt or build alternatives. And approval keeps you from making the scary choices needed to break any of it.
It's a tight web. And if you felt that aha, or that knot in your stomach as we talked, that's awareness sparking. That's the code pausing. That's you sensing your own power.
And like we said, no magic unplug button. Not about quitting everything tomorrow in a blaze of glory.
The real action, it's internal first. Cultivating radical consciousness.
Consciousness of your time. Where does it actually go?
Yeah.
Consciousness of your money. Who is it really serving? Consciousness of your thoughts, your beliefs. Are they yours? Consciousness of your choices, big and small. Consciousness of your core values, separate from the noise.
Because consciousness is power, the power to choose differently.
So, the practical path forward. Start where you are. Question everything, but with curiosity, not fear. Why do I believe this? Is this serving me?
Rebuild your beliefs consciously about work, money, your capabilities, what a good life even means to you.
Shift from passive consumption of news, entertainment, opinions, to active creation and curation of your own experience, your own knowledge.
And crucially, take full radical ownership. Your growth, your finances, your mind, your time. Stop waiting.
Stop waiting for permission, for rescue, for the right time. As the source material put it so well, no one is coming.
Which sounds harsh, but it's liberating, right? It means you are the one. You get to build this. You're the architect, step by step, on your terms.
Exactly. It's not escaping reality. It's reclaiming it from the defaults, designing it consciously. Freedom starts inside.
It's an internal state first,
Yeah.
cultivated through awareness, conscious choice. You don't need more motivation. You need clarity on what matters to you.
Don't just hustle harder within the system. Move deliberately towards building your own.
Don't escape. Design. Wow, okay, that was a real deep dive into these systems that shape so much of life.
Hopefully it's given you, the listener, not just info, but maybe a new lens, a new way to see your world, your potential.
Absolutely. And we'll leave you with that really provocative thought from the source material we looked at. The system doesn't fear your rebellion. It fears your awakening.
Stay conscious. Stay curious.
Thank you for listening. If this episode resonated with you, the best way to support the podcast is to hit like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Every bit of support helps us keep creating content that actually matters. See you in the next one.